When it comes to the NBA, people argue about a lot of different things, but there's one thing most people can agree on: their general dislike for ESPN analyst Stephen A. Smith. Fans might not care that much about Stephen A's tendency for causing trouble, but with athletes, especially athletes who are constantly surrounded by controversy, Stephen A. Smith is at the top of the menu of things they absolutely hate. The analyst has been involved in some of the nastiest and tasteless NBA beefs in recent memory. Whether it's some unnecessary and insensitive commentary made on national TV, or it's some disgusting Twitter banter between himself, fans, or NBA stars, Stephen A. is at the front line of a lot of the controversy that he is paid to cover, and it seems he gets away mostly untouched from all the confrontations he helps to fuel. However, it also seems like a lot of players have had enough of his bullshit, and most of these players have not been conservative with their views towards the sports journalist, calling him out and challenging him to a confrontation if he would even dare. Most NBA players have been very forthcoming with their thoughts about the sports pundit, and they are not the fondest. Everyone that knows Kevin Durant is aware that he is not the kind of person who keeps quiet when there's trouble and he's caught at the center of it. However, when it's trouble that he knows next to nothing about, he will be the first to clear his name and call the culprit out publicly. The Twitter community can attest to this, and unsurprisingly, Stephen A. too. During the 2016 free agency, there were speculations that connected KD to a trade that would see him in either the Washington Wizards or the New York Knicks after there were reports that he was having some troubles getting along with Russell Westbrook. Stephen A. Smith chimed in, saying that KD had no interest in either franchises and that his primary focus was the Los Angeles Lakers. This is how he said it: "Regardless of how senseless it may sound, in one breath I'm hearing that if Kevin Durant doesn't stay in Oklahoma City, LA is his primary objective and landing spot as opposed to South Beach or even his home of Washington, D.C. Clearly, Stephen A. was just guessing, and this was something everyone was used to him doing, and KD could have just let it slide. But he didn't. Fully aware of how much attention Stephen A. commands as a sports analyst, KD called him out for his unfounded statements, going as far as calling him a liar. He told reporters, "I don't talk to Stephen A. Smith at all. Nobody in my family, my friends, they don't talk to Stephen Smith. So he's lying. If you ask me a question, I'll talk about them. But like I said before, I have people who I talk to about everything, and I know for a fact that they didn't talk to him, so he's making up stories." We wish it had ended there, but when Stephen A. Smith heard KD's response, he responded yet again in the most petty fashion, saying, "It just appears that @KDTrey5 needs to learn something about today's world in professional sports. We don't have to talk to him to talk about him. Folks like me will still be here, watching, listening, waiting, reporting, whether he likes it or not, while he's here and long after he's gone. Time to get used to it." Of course, KD had already had his word and didn't even bother to respond to Stephen A. Smith's response. You would think that these partial namesakes would get along, but you would be wrong. Stephen Marbury is an ex-NBA player and a CBA legend who has had nothing but disdain for Stephen A., and he has never been afraid to speak about it. Recently, when he was asked about the sports journalist's general behavior and manner of reporting the game, Stephen Marbury had this to say: "I think Stephen A. Smith, he does what he's doing for TV. That's the best way to paraphrase what's actually happening, what's going on. Stephen A. Smith, he's never played any professional sport, and I think when you have these guys like him and Shannon Sharpe, when you have a football player talking about basketball, I think you're doing an injustice towards people's ears and understanding what's actually happening on the court. When you listen to guys like Chris Webber and Kenny Smith, even Charles Barkley, when you're listening to these guys and they're talking about basketball, it's okay." Clearly, Marbury feels one has to have played the game professionally to know the game as well as Smith seems to represent himself as knowing it, despite the fact that the ESPN personality was given a basketball scholarship to attend Winston-Salem State University. In Marbury's eyes, Stephen is not qualified to speak if he did not play in the NBA. So far, Stephen A. Smith hasn't issued a response, which is unlike him. There is no love lost between the King and Stephen A. LeBron knows and Stephen A. knows, or at least he should. So it was surprising when, in 2016, while there was some rumors about a rift between James and Kyrie Irving, Stephen A. claimed that there would be a trade happening soon because Kyrie wasn't happy playing second fiddle to LeBron James. He even went as far as saying that if LeBron and Kyrie were in the studio with him, that LeBron might even beat up Kyrie Irving. Of course, the moment LeBron heard about it, he responded by questioning the credibility of Stephen A. in a simple tweet: "Not facts, people. Boo. Get another source." However, Stephen A. ended up being right after all, because it turned out that Kyrie was actually having issues with LeBron, and the two ended up parting ways. John Wall is an insanely gifted NBA player who is a 5-time NBA All-Star who had the misfortune of racking up injuries that slowed down his career in 2018. This was something everyone understood at the time and was respectful enough to keep quiet about. Everyone except Stephen A. The loudmouth journalist went on a rant, criticizing the poor performance that John Wall had had as point guard for the Wizards, even as he was the highest paid player on their payroll. He even went as far as criticizing some of his off-court activities such as his partying, nightclub visits, and so on. When John Wall caught wind of the allegation, he was incensed and would not let it slide, so he issued his response. "It doesn't bother me. It's like this. If you have a personal problem with me, come talk to me like a man. If you want to talk about me as a basketball player, that's fine. I'm cool with that. I can take that criticism. That's what comes first when you're that guy. But when you want to take things to a personal level, you can have a conversation with me one-on-one, like a man." In usual fashion, this led to a spiel of provocative tweets between the two, with Stephen A. Smith responding that he is not the kind of guy who would be scared of a fight. I don't want to hear a damn thing about Wall, about talking to him man to man. I showed up to one game and waited for him in the locker room and he wouldn't come out. So the next time one or any other player tells you that they're looking for a man-to-man conversation, tell them to name the time and place and I'll show up. I'd even welcome it even on my damn vacation. I'm not the one hiding. Never have, never will. Wall heard this, probably laughed, and responded, not letting down. "For real, bro. You walked past me with your head down after I got my x-ray from my foot after the Boston game. Stop cap, bro. You know me. I don't know who you know from my camp. Stop hiding. Seems like you got a personal problem with me. Not about basketball." At this point, there was no end to their heated exchanges, and so far, we're not sure if they are even on speaking terms. But when has that ever stopped Stephen A. from speaking? Comment below to let us know your thoughts, and be sure to subscribe for more. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss another one of our videos. We'll see you next time, latest Hoops fans. Until then, keep shooting your shot.